You'll flip for this one, not once, but twice. Let's get into the swing of things, as we promise we won't toss any highlights aside, even the funny ones. Quick, let's get to the next hole before it rains. There aren't any hurdles that will stop us, so race home and watch the fastest 30 minutes on TV. Sportsnight is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And Joe, we have a show, a full one tonight.
It will have to be the fastest half hour
on
TV tonight, because we have a lot to talk about, a week and a half worth of Cardinal action, so we're going to get right to it. Start with the baseball team. Last time we spoke, they had already gotten off to a slow start with a couple of losses. That compounded over the past few weeks. They were at Armstrong on Thursday, back on the 22nd of April, the day after we did our last show. They lost 7-0. Cardinals had 11 strikeouts, 2 walks, and committed 6 errors. Antonio Manos, 1 for 2. That was the only hit in the game for the Cardinals. All 7 runs were in 1 inning. And as you see, Jack Vlacity gave up 5 of them, but only 2 of his were earned. I think the other 2 may have been, but still, 4 runs earned. Against Holy Angels, the Cardinals had 2 hits, both from Ian Wynn, and they struck out 4 times and only walked 5 times. They only committed 3 errors. Mark Manders took the loss on the hill, but a bunch of unearned runs again with the 3 errors. And after back-to-back shutout losses on the road, the Cardinals were hoping that home is where the hits are. Last Thursday, they welcomed the Elk River Elks to the Sunstrom Field. The Elks had just one win in their first 4 games of the year, so this was a good opportunity for the Cardinals to finally pick up win number 1. We start with a web gem in the top of the second. Ian Wynn showing off the speed. He's going to make another diving catch, one of the number of highlight reel plays for the Cardinals captains this spring. Couple of errors in the third, though, cost the Cardinals a 1-0 lead, but they don't trail for long. Jack Vlacity with a bomb to the opposite field in the bottom half. Lucas LeBrant will score easily from second, and it's tied at 2 after 3. Same score into the 5th. Cardinals with bases loaded, nobody out. Sam Halverson with a soft line drive into center field. Roloff will score from third. Coon Rapids is back in front. Bases still loaded, 2 outs now for Mark Manders. He bloops it to short center. Wynn scores easily. Halverson will slide in safely from second. Manders tries to advance over to second on the throw, but he's thrown out to end the inning. The 3 in the frame makes it 5-2 Cardinals. Jack Vlacity with a gem on the mound. He goes the distance with 10 strikeouts and no walks. He gave up 4 hits, and both of the runs were unearned. The Cards added 1 more in the 6th inning for a 6-2 win, and the monkey is finally off their backs.
That was a good game, and you know, Vlacity pitched so well in that contest. But you know, just the fact that they got some timely hitting and they were able to extend that lead and get the win, that was a big one for him.
It was, and unfortunately, they could not make it a streak. They went to Prior Lake on Saturday and lost 7-2. They got the bats going a little bit better. Ricky Petroff was 1 for 3 with a double and an RBI. He hit his double right after Antonio Manos hit his. Aaron Young got off the schneid, got that first hit of the year, but still 13 strikeouts for the Cardinals. But the big news of this one, they gave up 3 home runs and they lost 7-2. But the big news is no errors. First game 9 of the season, it's the first one that they have not committed any errors.
And that's huge because they had issues going into that game.
Yes.
No doubt. Well, the Cardinals were back home on Monday, hoping they could bounce right back against the Pirates. The Park Center Pirates were 1-5 and had given up 68 runs in those 6 games. The Cardinals were hoping they could take this opportunity to get the offense going and get their 2nd straight win at Sunstrom Field. Cardinals take advantage of some fielding problems for the Pirates. Back-to-back errors to start the bottom of the first. Ian Wynn reached on the first error, and the scores on the second, 1-0 Cardinals. There's a little speed going there, but that was the only run for quite a while. Zach White got his first start of the season for the Cards. He made the lead hold. White threw 5 shutout innings, giving up just 2 hits and 7 strikeouts and 4 walks. Got into trouble a couple of times, was able to work out of it. Cardinals finally coming up here, getting some run support in the home half of the 5th. Mark Manders with a blast to right center gap. Bases loaded, 2 outs. LeBrant and Halverson and Manos all score as Manders slides it safely into base-clearing double. Speaking of doubles, you see the runs coming across, and there's the slide. The speaking of doubles, the game is going to end on a double play. Manders to LeBrant to Vlasity ends the 7th. It secures the 4-0 win for the Cardinals. They're now 2-8 midway through the schedule. Nice stretch there for the double play.
Yeah, not the record they want,
No.
but again, back-to-back games now with 0 errors on the board.
Which
They
is
turned
great.
a double play. They may have one other in the first 9 games. I mean, it has been really rare to see solid fielding. The outfielders have made a couple of really highlight saves, but plays. But we've also seen some dropped in the outfield. A number of problems on the infield. Hopefully that's getting cleaned up, and the offense coming back at the same time. That's good news. Cardinals are at Centennial on Wednesday. They host Anoka on Thursday, and hoping they could maybe string a couple more together. 2 in a row at home, though. Gotta like that. Softball team has been busy as well. We start with their contest against Armstrong back on the 22nd, and they thumped the Falcons 12-2. Evan Euland went 3 for 3 with a walk and 3 runs scored. Ryan Mellum had another home run. Jaden Gale was 2 for 4 with a double, a couple RBIs, a couple of runs scored. Grace Graham also 2 for 4. Becca Masteller gets the win with 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, 3 strikeouts, and no walks. Then they took on Henry Sibley on the 26th, and they drop a close one 5-3. Ryan Mellum did go 2 for 3 in the game with a double. Reinars was 1 for 2 at a couple of RBI. Graham and Euland scored Graham scored a run for the Cardinals. Euland drove one in. Abby Ness took the loss in 4 innings pitched. 5 runs, 3 of them earned. Elk River's always a power, and they continue to be so. Beat up on the Cardinals 15-0 last Thursday. And then on Monday, Cardinals got back on the winning track with a 3-1 win over Park Center. Euland drove in all 3 runs with a double. Ryan Mellum had a couple of walks and a double. Numala was 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Olson was 1 for 2 with a walk. Becca Masteller goes the distance, 7 innings, gives up 1 run. It was unearned. She had 12 strikeouts.
That's impressive.
And just 1 walk.
Very impressive.
And they are at Centennial on Wednesday like the boys, and they will host Anoka on Thursday. And Howie,
We'll be there.
tennis team faced off against one of the top teams in the Northwest Suburban on the end of the week last time we were on. So going back almost a week and a half. Or we should be going back even further than that because they lost to Maple Grove 7-0. Before this was just last Saturday. On the 22nd, they lost to Maple Grove 7-0. On the 28th, they beat Spring Lake Park 5-2. On the 30th, they beat Andover 7-0, and almost every single one of those wins was in straight sets. There's a look at the Andover score. Derek Avery had to gut it out. He lost the first set, but he came back to win 6-3, 6-1. And make sure it was a clean sweep for the Cardinals, 7-0. Then on Saturday, they hosted my old nemesis from Minneapolis, Washburn. The Millers are a really good team, and Coach Storick, in his update that he goes through, he talked about both in the Maple Grove loss that they lost 7-0 and Washburn. He talked about how well they played certain points and what it was like and how beneficial it is for the guys to play these top-level teams. They turned around and beat Forest Lake 5-2. Surprise Taylor had to move up to first singles, but he got a win there. Held and Staples also got a win in 6-love at first doubles. And then on Monday, Cardinals were at Rogers, and this is the one that really tests the character. They have yet to win a 4-3 match this year. We talk about it every year, how easily tennis matches and tennis's overall record could go the other way. Surprise Taylor won at second singles, Derek Avery won at fourth singles, and Jensvold and Anderson won at second doubles. But how easily just getting one of those matches to go the other way, how quickly their record could improve vastly.
Those are the toughest losses, I think, in my mind, because you have that opportunity to win the match, and you lose it by that one game, and it's unfortunate. You go back to that Washburn, that was my old nemesis as well. And Washburn wasn't very much of a tennis powerhouse back when I played. It was, of course, I went to Minneapolis West, but Southwest was always strong in tennis.
Well, what do you know? We had to be good at something.
Yeah, no, you were a guy. You were good at other things.
Well,
other sports.
The tennis team will host Anoka on Wednesday. They'll be at Cambridge Isani on Thursday. The track team last Thursday had a beautiful day to have a bunch of visitors at the complex. They had 4 other teams show up for a Northwest Suburban Conference meet. Unfortunately, because a couple of those teams never entered their results, they never had official results both for the team and for the individuals. But we do have some of the highlights to talk about on the boys team. Kingsley Freeman finished first in the 100-meter hurdles. Cole Fosslin was first in the shot put, with Dowdle in second and Kennedy in third. A straight sweep of the podium in the shot put. And look at that, just 6 inches difference between Kennedy in third place and Fosslin in first with 43 feet 3 inches. Andre Kemboy, third place finish in the 800-meter run, finishing in 2 minutes and 9 seconds. On the girls' side, just some times. Michaela D'Souza finished with a 13.13 100-meter dash time. Martinson went 100-meter hurdles in 15.62. 4x100-meter relay team finished in 55.36. Isa Hoagland finished the 2-mile in 13:11 seconds, with her twin sister Zoe just 14 seconds behind in 13 minutes and 25 seconds. So both Cardinals teams were able to enjoy that great weather for the 5-team meet, one of the few events they've run in the sun so far this spring. Boys track and field team had a talented group of seniors that were robbed of their final season in 2020. Now some of those alums are back at the complex, helping the Cardinals get back up to speed.
They missed out on something special. So they're here to help out these kids to build back what we lost last year.
In a normal season, the Cardinals have somewhere around 20 seniors. This year, they have just 4. There isn't much varsity experience as they start the season, but they know that many teams are in a similar position.
So we're really young. So we're just going to start from scratch. We're going to build off of it, move kids around when we need to, and letting the kids explore a little bit too.
The Cardinals veterans say they did their best to stay in shape on their own last spring, and many are multi-sport athletes that were competing and staying fit all winter. But they say nothing is the same as getting back on the track.
Heart rate got beaten a little bit just getting on the track and having to listen to the starting gun again. But once we started running, it was so much fun. Our first couple meets were super cold and rainy, and so it wasn't the greatest, but it was just so much fun being able to run on the track again.
The Cardinals have 4 captains, 1 senior and 3 juniors. They all have high expectations of themselves and their teammates that they'll put forth their best effort every time they take the track.
Just keeping a clear mind and just looking to PR every time I'm out there and give it my best.
I just want to be the best athlete as I can, be the best leader, and just get as many PRs as we can, and just reach for the stars.
This will be a building year for the Cardinals, but these guys are ready to put the hard hats on and reset the foundation for the program.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing how a lot of the younger teammates do, because we have a good amount of people who haven't really done track before, and I like to see where it'll take them.
The Cardinals want to see everyone improve from the start of the year to the finish, and they hope they'll be able to send a couple of guys to state at the end. But they also know the most important part is to enjoy every minute along the way.
I'm just trying to make sure these guys know that they have a whole high school career ahead of them and to enjoy it while they still have it.
So excited that they're going to get this. Talking to all of the coaches that we talked to so far, they said that it's not just this year; it's the years after, and the recruiting, especially for sports like track and field, that's a big part of keeping that mass amount of athletes in there. Is you've got to keep the word out there, and they lost a lot of guys that were were going to be juniors last year.
Right.
And now they only have 4 of them coming back this year. And had last year happened, they'd probably have more in that senior class. But Coach Sullivan and all the guys are really excited about the fact that this means that it can be more of a building year, and there will be a lot of experience coming back next year.
Yeah, and track is one of those sports where you get some crossover from other sports too as well. And, some of the coaches having experience coaching in the football program and other things and working in the weight room, get some of those athletes to come over and run track.
Yeah.
Well, the girls team is in a similar position to start the season, but like the boys, they're ready to jump any hurdle that is in their path. The loss of last season hurt everybody, and the impact will be felt far beyond this year. But the Cardinals are going to do what they can to make up for the lost time.
It's really nice, especially since when I was a freshman, I didn't originally plan to do track, but then I found out I really loved it. So I'm really glad that I got to have one more season to do it after everything that happened last year.
The Lady Cardinals are fortunate to have a relatively veteran group at the top of their roster. They have a number of returning girls, and many are multi-sport athletes that are used to working hard and leading by example.
I think I'm really prepared. I feel good, feeling fast too, so that's always good. Just keep PRing, just keep getting stronger and faster.
With motivation like that, the Cardinals are sure to see their times fall and their distances climb. The seniors know this is their last chance to compete, and they plan to push themselves and their teammates to new heights this season.
I'm really trying to make sure everyone's working hard at practice. Everyone's really putting in their full effort and going at it. After some races, I like to help the girls reflect and critique some of the things that they could have done better, and also tell them things that they did do better, so we can all just grow as a team and all get better at once.
A year after the pandemic first canceled sports and forced schools to go virtual, most Cardinals are back in the classroom. And they're back on the track, a return to normal that gives them something to look forward to every day.
It's a really nice break, especially after school, after sitting in a classroom for 8 hours. It's really nice, especially get outside and run and exercise before going home, doing homework.
All of the Cardinal athletes we talked to said they love their sport and they're committed to getting better. All of them also said it's the team community that means the most.
I think that helps with them just being a little bit more at ease, makes it a little bit more fun, and then just gives them that opportunity to know that they, have support.
The Cardinals will continue to strive for greater success this season, but they're also excited to see what happens for the team next. Those who are leaving say they're confident the team will be in good hands for years to come.
I've seen them just put in so much hard work to get to where they are now, and they're really fast, and I'm excited to see where the team will be in a few years.
Well, and the mantra here on the desk remains the same. Just so glad that everything's back in action.
Yes.
and kids are able to compete. There have been a couple of little problems here for different teams throughout this school year, but for the most part, everybody's gotten their things done and gotten all their competitions in.
Yeah, and lately the weather's been good. I mean, it started off a little bit cold and a little bit rainy, and it, I'm sure, hampered some meets. But the fact that we talked about crossover athletes, there's so many that are involved in the girls' track team as well, and it just gives them the experience and the leadership that they need for some of the younger girls.
And the Cardinals will be hosting another big Northwest Suburban Conference event. They have a quad meet coming up on Thursday this week. They'll have Blaine, Park Center, and Anoka at the complex, and then they'll do a duel with Champlin Park next Thursday. Boys golf team got their first couple of Northwest Suburban Conference matches in, and not quite where they were hoping to be, but you've got to start somewhere. Nathan Clark shot an 88 to lead the way at North Fork. Peyton Himley shot a 95, as did DeVries. King came in with a 92, and Trevor Hyatt shot a 102 for a team total of 270. 382 was their number at Golden Valley. That'll keep them in 13th place as well. DeVries all the way to the top of the leaderboard with a 93. Himley a 95, Clark a 96, King a 99, and Roberstead was a little better than 100. He did not finish with a 10. I think he finished with 102 or 103. The Cardinals haven't had the results they were hoping for so far, but it's still very early in the season. Like all high school athletes, the Cardinals are just happy to be back on the course. The return of spring sports means we're one step closer to the other side. They're trying to take full advantage.
It's a fun time. It's a fun group of people.
The golf teams endured some cold and wet conditions in the first few weeks of the season, but it didn't dampen their spirits. Any chance to be at the course with their teammates is a win.
I enjoy it. I mean, having something to look forward to every day is awesome. Being able to come here and spend some time with people on the course every day.
Restrictions and precautions have loosened in the first few weeks of the season. It's another sign that things are improving, and once they're on the course, the Cardinals can forget for a while about the pandemic and focus on their game.
During the basketball season, that was way different, but now that golf season, since we're outside, it's like playing is still very similar to how it used to be, and it's good to have a sense of normality.
Of course, they still have to be careful. The threats of exposure or contact are very real, so they wear masks when appropriate and do their best off the course to avoid situations that could cost them or their team a portion of the season.
But a lot of teams are having kids who are being pulled from activities because they've tested positive, or they've been in a classroom with another student who tested positive, or some kind of contact tracing.
Fortunately, the Cardinals have a solid core and the depth needed to adapt in case someone is forced to quarantine. Coach Bruggers is impressed with the team's determination to improve in all aspects of the game, physically and mentally.
I think just to keep our sights and our focus in front of us, just like any golfer, you can't worry about the last shot that you didn't like. You have to focus on your next shot.
There are some differences on the course due to COVID, but not all of them are bad. Instead of foursomes being made up of 4 players from 4 different schools, now they play in pairs for all of their matches.
It's nice because traditionally we'd never played with someone from our own team before, so it's nice having a guy and just being out there with someone makes it a little more relaxing and it's a little more casual. So,
like most spring athletes, the Cardinals just hope they can finish the season uninterrupted. It's an important part of their day and their lives to be on the course with their friends, improving themselves together.
They really enjoy each other's company, and they enjoy practicing golf. They like to get out here and they like to spend time getting better. And that, to me, that's what I want to be around, kids like that.
And that makes sense.
Yes,
it makes
does.
sense. And, the golf program, the gem of Coon Rapids that they get to take advantage of throughout the whole summer. It's really a great deal that Coon Rapids golfers get that most other teams don't get to has much access to the course throughout the rest of the summer after the season ends. So it's kind of a sweet deal. And, we've seen the early scores the last time out, the 90s. We're hoping that's an aberration. If these guys, you can get those 4 or 5 guys that are all finishing low to mid 80s, you're going to see them work their way out from that 13th spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still plenty of time to get that done. They're at the Keller, or they're at the Refuge on Wednesday. They're at the Keller next Wednesday. Girls golf team. Of course, the girls golf in Northwest Suburban, they do head-to-head matches. The Cardinals went head-to-head with the Bengals on Thursday the 22nd. Shot at 215. They lose to the Bengals 193. Kate Garbo leading the way with a 50. Emily Verbeek also had a 50. Kylie Wilson with a 53. Katie Severson a 62. And Geddes had a 62 as well. Couple of tournaments in the past couple weeks for the Cardinals. They went to Purple Hawk, which is out in Chaska, I believe, and they shot a 431, took 6th place. Kate Garbo shot a 91. This is one of the few events where they play a full 18 holes. Kylie Wilson finished with a 102. Emily Verbeek a 117. Defoe a 121. And Sydney Vossen a 122. Then they played at Majestic Oaks, the Northwest Suburban Conference mid-season tournament. The Cardinals finished in 10th place out of the 14 teams. Garbo shot a 98, Wilson a 103, Severson a 116, Defoe 117, and Verbeek a 121. And then they were just back out on the course. We didn't get the graphics ready in time, but they were on the course today, and we got this fresh off the text machine from...
The text machine. You old guys are just you're so funny.
They got a win head-to-head over Champlain Park. They beat them 192-211 over at Edinburgh this afternoon. Kate Garbo was the medalist with a 43. Kylie Wilson and Eleanor shot a 50. Caitlin Severson had a 59. And he was talking about, I won't go into every detail, but he said they're showing some more confidence in their shots and they're playing better in their short game, which is where they've really been putting a lot of their focus at this point in the season.
Well, this may sound like a broken record, but of course the girls golf team just happy to be able to be on the course and most importantly to have a season from a year, they lost a year ago. Coming off the win today is a really important step for them as they continue on in the season. They're looking to take the momentum they had from today and move it forward.
Oh, I'm so happy when I'm here. I love being out here. It's so calm and you get to just listen to nature.
It's natural for the Cardinals to love being back at the course. It's a chance to get one step closer to normal and get some much needed social interaction.
This is what the girls love about it, is being in 2, 3, 4somes out on the course, just playing with their friends and connecting through the game, and making those stories and sharing stories. So this is going a long way to kind of bringing them back from whatever was happening last year.
A lot has happened in the world since there was high school golf in Minnesota. And with the continued loosening of restrictions, it gives the kids a chance to forget about the world for a while and focus on their game.
I think it also helps me like mentally too, is just take it one step at a time. Just hit the ball. If it doesn't go the right direction, you always have another chance. And that's what I have to learn. And I think that's going to help me through life too.
The Cardinals' numbers are down to start the season, but they're happy with the 13 they have. They're fortunate to have 3 captains who were here 2 years ago, and they're excited about what they've seen from the team so far.
So we have a couple of returning players, but not a lot of girls have played varsity ever. So there's a lot of new girls that have even never picked up a club before, and they've actually improved a lot so far.
We're making progress. Over the last 3 weeks, we've seen a lot of progress, and I expect the same amount in the next 3 weeks before the end of the season. It's such a short window we have, but we're making the most of it.
Like the Bandit, the Cardinals have a long way to go and a short time to get there. So they're going to put the pedal to the floor and get everyone up to top speed just as quickly as they can. But they must remember to be mindful of the mental side of the game as well.
Sort of calming the nerves is a huge part of it. Because if you go into a match thinking you're going to do bad, you just need to have a positive mindset, and then you'll ultimately just do better.
It's just great to see kids having fun on the course, on the track, on the field, what have you. It's good to be back.
It's great to be back, and I think of all the sports, in my mind, golf's probably the most mentally challenging, because it's you against the course, and it can get in your head. If you start hitting some bad shots, it's really difficult to break away from that.
It's interesting because that's one of the sound bites that Keeney said. They've got to understand it's you against the course, and you're not going to beat the course.
Exactly.
You just have to do the best you can.
You have to tame it a little.
For years, we here at CTN have been big fans of the Keeney as a great sign of excitement. But apparently, it's also a great gesture to help the girls' golf team refocus as well.
Sometimes, if I don't hit a shot the right way, I'll see him in the distance. He does this thing where he goes. And it's my favorite thing. And it'll always, if I don't hit a shot right, and I know this goes for the other golfers, but you don't hit a shot right, you just see this and you're all better.
Just absolutely love that. It didn't fit into the story, but I had to get that on because we've been doing it on the set for years. And it's so great that it continues and that they find so much joy in that. The Cardinals, as I mentioned, were at Champlain Park today, got a big win. They'll be hosting Elk River on Thursday. Well, the boys lacrosse team has had more than a week off, and they're hoping it serves as a reset on the season. After opening the year with a loss to high-powered Champlain Park, Cardinals traveled to take on Anoka on Wednesday the 21st. Tornadoes were 1-1 and looking to stay on the positive side of 500, but the SLPCR squad would come in hungry for win number 1. Anoka controlling the ball well early. They get it to Devin Hirsch, and he fires it past Chris Curtis, and will start the scoring midway through the first. Still in the opening frame, the Tornadoes working down low to Troy Wahlberg. He goes to the low backhand and gives Anoka the 2-0 lead after the first period. Maybe the field was tilted because as soon as they switch sides, it's the SLPCR squad's turn. Gavin Trock Fowler left alone in front. He buries it very early in the second quarter. Tornadoes able to stretch the lead before the Catbirds strike again. Ethan Ossie feeds Henry left in front. He spins and scores 5-2 at the half. But that's as close as it would get. Nice individual effort for Anoka's Nate Anderson late in the fourth quarter. Finds his way out front, and that completes the scoring. Tornadoes walk away with a 10-2 victory.
You know, it's interesting because I know it's a combined squad, but to watch any Coon Rapids, at least sport on here with blue jerseys as the home team or the Coon Rapids / SLP team, it's interesting to me.
Wait, who am I cheering for?
Yeah, exactly. Wait a minute. Whose team am I watching?
So the Cardinal or the Catbirds, the Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids squad faced off against the Roseville Raiders next. The Roseville has been a powerhouse since boys lacrosse became a high school sport. They beat up on the SLPCR squad 15-4. Luke did have 3 goals and an assist for Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids. Curtis made 14 saves, but just not enough offense to fight against the Raiders. And they took on the Blaine Bengals. Blaine also has been a tough team since lacrosse began as a high school sport. Oh, so long ago they lost that one. Oh, wait, that was girls. Maybe the Roseville. I'm off track. Stop. Where am I? Oh, Roseville was their last game. That's right. Okay, I got ahead of myself because it was girls lacrosse that played Blaine. They play different teams because they're Spring Lake Park, Coon Rapids, and one is Coon Rapids. Got it? Okay. They're at Maple Grove on Wednesday this week, and they host Elk River Zimmerman next Monday. It's the only game of the season for the Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids team that's going to be held at the Cardinals Stadium. It's a doubleheader with the girls, and I believe CTN will be doing the webcast.
We definitely will be doing the webcast. And before we move to the girls, I have a quick question. Have they actually adapted the name Catbirds, or is that just you and I calling them the Catbirds?
I'm trying to refrain from it as much as possible, but I got to throw 1 or 2 in there. Yeah. As far as I know, they're just
we'll stir the pot.
As far as I know, they're just the Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids squad.
Okay.
The girls' team had a bit of a slow start, but things have turned around in this last week, and they're starting to play pretty well. They lost to the Blaine Bengals 15-6 back on Wednesday the 21st. Rowan Tom had 4 goals. Kennedy Bolander scored the other 2 for the Coon Rapids Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals were back home. Oh, that's you.
That's me. Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. You mind?
Yeah,
okay, good.
Go ahead.
Well, the Cardinals were back home to start last week with a visit from Spring Lake Park on Monday. The boys' teams may have combined forces, but for the girls' lacrosse, the Cardinals and the Panthers are conference rivals. Both teams came in last Monday's game looking for their first win to avoid an 0-3 start to start the season. Cardinals getting the start they wanted. Rowan Tom finds Kennedy Bolander crashing down the middle. She scores in close, and those two can be tough for teams to defend. They'll connect again midway through the first. Great pass from Tom, great finish for Bolander. It's a 2-0 lead for the Cards. Now, and they can flip the script and find success as well. Bolander to Tom out front. She has to regather, but still turns and scores. They combine for 7 goals and 13 points against Spring Lake Park. Let's move to the second half. Cards up by 5. Bolander and Tom combine in transition. Tom's shot is almost stopped, but just gets over the line, and the Cardinals are going to hold on for an 8-4 win.
That was win number 1. They needed it.
They did.
Needed it.
They
did.
And,
didn't run away from the Panthers,
nope.
but getting a win is huge. And, getting the offense going, of course, lacrosse can be such an offensive game. You see teams that can put up, a dozen, 15, 20 goals
easily
in these games. Over the weekend, they were at Rogers, took on the Rogers Royals. Or actually, this was on Wednesday of last week, the 28th, against the Rogers Royals. They came up just short, losing 10-9. Kennedy Bolander had 4 goals. Rowan Tom had 3. Isaacs and Gilliard also factored into the scoring for the Cardinals. Then on Saturday is when they play, or Friday, it was Friday that they played Duluth, and they really pumped up the offense. They put 17 goals in against Duluth, 6 of them from Tom, 4 of them from Bolander, goal and an assist each for Fowler and Isaacs. Stodolko, not very busy, made 3 saves to get the win, 17-4 the final. Well, the Cardinals were back at the complex on Monday with a great opportunity to get back-to-back wins for the first time this year. The Eagles from Totino Grace were 0-3 to start the season and had been outscored 56-5. Cardinals offense had been improving every game. It'd be hard to do better than the 17 from Friday, but they were going to give it a try. Cardinals start quickly, already up by 2. Offensive pressure pays off as Rowan Tom is able to strip the keeper of the ball. She recovers, jukes a couple of defenders, and scores 3-0 just over 6 minutes in. Tom netted 6 goals against Totino Grace. Just 90 seconds later, it's the chameleon, Casey Beck, and she's left the lane right to the front of the net, and she takes it. Easy tally from there, makes it 4-0 Coon Rapids. More first half action. Rowan Tom again. This time, she connects with Kennedy Bolander, streaking through the middle. She gets one of her 4 in the game. Tom and Bolander proving to be a dangerous duo so far this season. Second half, Bolander taking care of this one all by herself. Just runs past everyone, fires it home to the upper corner. Cardinals win their 2nd in a row and the 3rd time in their last 4 games. 14-6 the final over Totino Grace.
I watched a little bit of that game last night, and you know, granted that Totino Grace isn't the powerhouse obviously in the conference, but they started to cut in a little bit to the lead, and I was impressed with the way that the girls actually built it back up and controlled that game throughout.
Well, the road is going to become more difficult. They've got Champlain Park coming to the complex next Monday for that doubleheader that'll be here on CTN. They're at Armstrong on Wednesday. Before that, but Champlain Park always a top team in the conference and the section as well.
I did like the fact that you got a chameleon reference in, so gotta like that.
And a Smokey and the Bandit reference.
And a Smokey and the Bandit reference.
But that
You're just the best in the business, Yun.
But that is going to be all the time we have for you here tonight. Here's a look at what we have coming up for you here on CTN. Cardinals taking on Anoka in softball live at 4:30 on Thursday. Girls lacrosse and boys lacrosse. Girls against Champlain Park, boys against Elk River. Those are at 5 and 7 on Monday. But that's going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Saying good night.